Well, The Dark Knight opens today and is one of the most highly anticipated sequels in the last decade. As most of you know, The Dark Knight follows the Batman reboot film Batman Begins. So why did they start over? Well, George Clooney's nipples. Well, that and a huge number of bad ideas that cropped up in Batman and Robin. The franchise had become so campy by that time, even Adam West thought it was gay. Now, when deciding to do another Batman movie, who in their right mind decided to give the reins to a $150 million film to the guy who wrote and directed Memento? With actors who never busted the bank, but received critical acclaim by doinking hookers and then chasing them around with chainsaws. Well, that douchebag deserves quite the handshake because Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are forming one of the most intricate and dynamic franchises ever put on film. Now, how would you characterize The Dark Knight? Epic. Not in that stoner surfer kind of way. I mean in the way that Homer's Odyssey was epic. It should surprise no one then when I say that the story is not only dark, but utterly tragic. Christopher Nolan said this is the story of Harvey Dent, Gotham's new district attorney and proverbial white knight. As most know, Harvey's fate by the end of the movie is that of the villain Two-Face. The story isn't about a shocker ending, we all know what's coming. It's about how he got there. Nolan masterfully crafts the plight of this noble man stricken down by the demented and chaos-craving Joker. Now, much of the talk around the movie has been about Heath Ledger's performance. Many will say that it's just because he died, but I can't emphasize enough how genius his performance really is. Unlike Tim Burton's Joker, Nolan's man was never out to be a gangster after hordes of money. He cares about creating chaos, and dear God, he's good at it. It's just amazing the kind of reach and control that the Joker has in Gotham. There's just constant paranoia over what he might do or where he could strike. Yes, the Joker causes explosions, but the action never slows the pace of the movie. The action is dynamic and clever. You were never really sure how a sequence is going to develop. In fact, most of the time, the technology being employed is stuff you've never even heard of. A few of the sequences were filmed with an IMAX camera, which means if you're watching in an IMAX theater, the screen becomes even bigger in certain parts of the movie. This is the first time a major motion picture has ever done that, and it makes the IMAX experience really worth it. Now, the performances are solid with the exception of Maggie Gyllenhaal. How you go to being worse than Katie Holmes, I'm not quite sure. However, we have tons of other good performances like Aaron Eckhart in one of his best roles yet, Morgan Freeman and Michael Caine, although they have become a bit more of supporting characters in this movie compared to what they were in Batman Begins, but both of them still kind of leave their musty, wise mark on the film. Christian Bale plays a Bruce Wayne that is very immersed in the Batman identity. Every time he's seen in public without the mask, it's as if he's goofing around. His born name has become nothing more than a novelty, and Batman has completely taken over. It's hard to imagine what The Dark Knight doesn't have. It works as an action movie, as a suspenseful movie, a dramatic tragedy. Nolan's created a masterpiece that people will be making nostalgic references to for the next 20 years. Enjoy the film.